Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Ball Does Lie podcast, your one stop shop for NBA content. I am your host, Brendan, joined by my co host, Amir. And Amir, we have some news out of Milwaukee, some pretty bad news for Bucks fans. It's been a rough season, and now Giannis is out with a calf injury. No timetable on his return. I would assume they keep him out for the rest of the season, or at least maybe look to deal him. Do you think a trade is imminent here for Giannis before the deadline, or do you think the Bucks will take this into the offseason and kind of see where all the chips fall before making a big move with their franchise guy?
Tough to say, but it was also self-diagnosed when Giannis hurt his calf. He's like, I think it's going to be somewhere around 4 to 6 weeks. I've dealt with calf issues. He had one earlier this season. He's had some in the past where it looked like he had those soft tissue injuries where it looked like it might have been an Achilles. Like I remember a season ago or 2 seasons ago when like they inbounded the ball to him and he just like fell to the ground like right before the playoffs. So he's kind of been dealing with these lower extremity
I mean,
issues.
earlier
So
this season, he had the same type
yeah,
of incident. Yeah, sorry to cut you off there.
was it the same leg?
I think it was that same right leg. Yeah, if I remember correctly, off the check again. But he's had strains to both his right and left calf. So as you were saying, this is kind of an ongoing issue for him over the
Yeah,
past few seasons.
yeah. I don't know if he'll sit out the hold him out the entire season, but like I guess the thought process they could pitch to him, which they're still trying to pitch that like, hey, we're buyers at the trade deadline. Like, who are you going to add realistically that's going to make them a contender? This team is just so bad. So I think they're kind of maybe seeing the writing on the wall, even though Giannis will never demand a trade, which is insane. But he started talking crap on his teammates, basically saying they like are ball hogging or just like making the wrong plays or something. Like he's been frustrated. The fans booed him at one point. I forgot during a certain like segment of a game, and he booed them back, which I thought was hilarious. So there's turmoil, right, for the first time, and I mean they have no route of improving this team. Realistically, they don't own any of their draft picks until like 2031 or 2032, and they have no cap space because of Damian Lillard's contract that's still going to be on the books for the next 4 years after this season
Next
for
4
$25 million a year
years.
or whatever. And I mean, Miles Turner is not the answer, and Kyle Kuzma are not the answer. So, is he going to get traded? I say yes. I think he is by the deadline. I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily. I don't think he will. I think it's probably going to happen more so in the offseason. I think the team is going to probably sit him out for as long as they can so they could lose, which I think is a benefit to them because I think I don't know if they have their pick for next season or not. I think they might, if you could look that up.
Yeah.
Um, because if they do tank with Giannis out this season, then they'll have a higher lottery pick, and that's going to be huge for their future because they're going to have to rebuild if they're going to be trading Giannis. Because it's going to seem like the writing is on the wall that Giannis might not demand a trade, but the team might realize that it's in their best interest to trade for Giannis. And teams like my team, the Miami Heat, who are always interested and are interested right now because of the Terry Rozier debacle, we only have 2 tradable picks if we trade right now. In the offseason, we have 4. So it would be better for the Bucks because then I would demand all 4 picks, right? And other teams can provide more picks also in similar situations. So we'll see. I don't know. What is your thought? Like, do you think he actually is going to sit out for the rest of the season? And do you think they actually do trade him this offseason or before the deadline? That's a possibility too.
Yeah, I don't think they make a deal before the deadline. I think you just keep him on the roster until we get to the end of the season. He has a player option that I imagine he won't sign. And that'll maybe be his unofficial, official. I'm requesting a trade finally, as he's been doing this dance all year with the Thunder, or excuse me, with the Bucks. So the Bucks do have a pick swap this year. They will get the worst pick between them and the Pelicans. So they at least will have a draft pick in this offseason. I think at this point the Bucks aren't going anywhere this season. I think you keep Giannis off the floor. You maybe try to get some more development for your guys like Rollins and some of your younger guys. Maybe AJ Green gets a little bit more of a scoring role here, but I don't really know where the Bucks go this season. I think it's maybe time to shut it down and really try to focus on what you're going to do this offseason with Giannis. Because again, as you mentioned, with that Damian Lillard contract, they're kind of tied. There's not a lot they can do, not a lot of wiggle room with their current cap situation. And it's not like Milwaukee is necessarily a glowing destination for free agents.
Not at all.
So I guess with all of this in mind, where do you see the Bucks maximizing any type of potential coming into this offseason? Do you think they try to go in and make a play-in spot and fight for something like that, as you know their current pick situation isn't great, or do they really just pack it in and just try to reevaluate things?
Pack it in. They're like 3-11 with Giannis off the floor. Like his on court, off court numbers are ridiculous. So they have no shot, even in the East, without Giannis. So you have your pick though, right? So I mean, they're not going to be theoretically worse than the Pelicans, right? Where are the Pelicans? 12-36. They, as of the time of this recording, and I mean they're not that far off. They're 18-26. So just only 6 more wins. But if they get a top 5 pick, they keep it, right? As long as the Pelicans get the 3rd pick or anything above that, right?
Yeah, but
Anything higher than that?
you never know with the lottery. I think that's been proven.
Well, the
You have no
NBA could be
idea where
like,
you're gonna end up.
oh, $4, they're losing a superstar, right? Like, let's just give them like a
You
top
think
3
Adam
pick.
Silver would phone it in for the Bucks? I don't know if the Bucks are getting that type of preferential treatment.
I have no clue, but I think you just tank. Like,
Yeah,
what benefit
agree
do
with
you
you on
have?
here.
Like, you're not going to make the play in, like, especially if Giannis is going to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks. Like, how many games is that? How many games do teams play in a month? They play like 3 times a week on average. That's
You're
anywhere
looking
from
at 12,
12 to
like anywhere 10 to
12
15
to
games.
16 games. That's just if it's 4 to 6 weeks, and they're already 10 games below 500 at this point. Like, so I think you just pack it in and you see the writing on the wall is that he's going to get traded to the Lakers probably, or some bullshit team. I'm just kidding, or Knicks. I don't know, some big market team. I don't know, not my team. He's never going to go to Miami. I wish. That's like the ultimate dream for me. But where do you think he realistically ends up if it goes to the summer? Do the Thunder come in? I don't think he'll go to the Thunder necessarily because that's kind of like
I
a
don't think
like a
Presti's
BS
gonna
move, right?
mess. Yeah, and
For him
as a
himself though, like him going to a team, because if especially if the Thunder win this year, like Giannis going to like the best team, like no challenge. Like Giannis likes a challenge. Like I don't think he would pull the KD thing. But like
yeah,
with
but
Rockets
with
come
that
in,
move being made, anything's possible. I could see Giannis put if the Thunder wanted him, I could see him potentially going to a franchise like that. I don't think that'll end up happening. I don't think Presti will shake up the roster in that way and give up all of his draft capital. There's no reason to if you're a Thunder
yeah,
fan, right? To want to make a big swing like that. You're the defending champs. You're already well positioned to basically be the favorites again, barring any crazy injuries. I honestly could see. I really can picture Giannis in a Heat jersey. Not to try to get you all excited, but he just screams Miami Heat to me. Don't know what that package would look like. Don't know how they would orchestrate
everybody.
it.
What do you mean? What it
But
looks like? Want me to tell you real quick?
we did. We went over this, and you gave me some good packages.
I would
And
trade Bam, but like he's not gonna want to come unless
amen. You
like
should, and
I
any
would
Heat
trade
fan should
everybody.
want to
Like
trade Bam.
realistically, Hero, Ware, Jaime, Jovic, 4 picks. You got a 7
Throwing the
foot.
kitchen sink at him.
You get a 7-1 Khalil Ware, 21-year-old, all NBA rookie team, whatever, like second team or whatever it was. He played like 40 games last season. He wasn't even in the rotation. He still made it. Dude, Khalil Ware is the 4th highest rebounder in the NBA right now, and he's getting like 8 minutes sometimes. Like he's like not even playing in the
Yeah, his
rotation, and
game
he's still
log is
top 4.
crazy.
So like you have a center, and then you have Tyler Hero, who's still 26. He's from Milwaukee. Who cares if he's from Milwaukee? But there's a homecoming there. You get a guy who can help score, and who, when healthy, can be a top scorer in the NBA, right? Like not a top scorer, but still, he's averaging 24 points per game last year. He's averaging 22, and it's only 11 games. Jaime Jaquez is playing like the 6th man of the year right now, averaging 16, 6, and 5. Like that's huge. And then you get Niko Jovic, who's having a down year, but he's a 6'11" forward who plays like a point guard. Like, so I think that's enough right there. And then you give him 4 picks,
I was
and you
going to
give
say
him all the picks.
the draft picks are probably what Milwaukee would want the most. Because if you're the Bucks, I think once you get rid of Giannis, you're really staring down the barrel of a rebuild, and a pretty long one. So all the draft capital they can get would be ideal. Now, real quick before we do wrap up, as a Heat guy, does Giannis's injury recent injury history and his age give you any pause? Not at all. You're willing to trade all that.
Get the fuck out of here. He's 31. His guy's in tore his Achilles.
31 is not. I mean, you're basically on the latter half of your prime for sure. So
who cares about
tall
that?
guy,
No,
leg
but
injuries.
no.
It's something to think about. It's for sure something to think about.
Yeah, but it doesn't apply to superstars. Like the super freak superstars, like even Chris Paul at age 41 is better than a lot of guys like role players, guys who are
Was
like
he? Was he? I
no,
mean,
maybe
he's
not
not on a
41.
team
He's
now.
41. Like, but a Chris Paul at 38, 39, like those type of guys
Yeah.
who are elite superstars are still better than some guys that are in their 20, like in their late 20s. The LeBrons, the Steph Currys, the Jimmy Butlers before his ACL injury. Like there's guys that are like that are going to age and great still be contributing, right? They're just another level ahead of other players, and I think Giannis will fall into that category because he's only 31, man. He got Shaq at 34, like, and he was old, supposed to be washed. Him and Kobe got in that fight, Shaq was supposed to be out of shape. It was his fault they lost to the Pistons. Yet he comes to the Miami Heat and wins a championship, right? Like Miami Heat had Tim Hardaway from the Golden State Warriors. They said his knee was cooked. We got unlucky, a few seasons where we didn't get to the finals, and Alonzo Mourning had that kidney issue eventually, but which that run was cut short. But they went from being a middling team back in 1995, and then we get Tim Hardaway. Now we're like the Miami Heat's a perennial number 1 seed in the East, right? And that they thought he was cooked. So same thing with Giannis. Like he's getting older, he's dealing with his injuries. Like I don't buy that. Like I don't think he hasn't had an Achilles tear, he hasn't had a ACL tear, he hasn't had a broken bone. Like he hasn't had a major injury. He's not Kawhi. He's not Anthony Davis. We're like they're cooked. You know what I mean? There's certain guys like but like Derrick Rose, it's like that guy's done. Like this guy's knee is cooked every other year. Kawhi's knee is cooked every other year. AD is a little different, which is I think the worst case because he's hurt on it
all the time.
AD is operation. You're playing the game operation. What hurts?
Because it's exactly it's something different for AD every day. And Giannis, I think is the caliber of player where it's so worth it because if he's healthy, he's one of the best, if not the best player in the league, as he's shown. Well, I guess we'll see what the Bucks end up doing. Pretty tough decision to make. I gotta say, I'm glad I'm not the Bucks GM or the Bucks front office. But I want to thank you for jumping on today and talking some Giannis. Thank you all for watching. If you do like the content, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.